welcome back to Books That Change My Life. I'm Christina and today is gonna be a long video, alright? So you probably might want to watch it in parts. So let's start by how I woke up this morning. So I woke up and as expected, I read the news and saw that Brazilian's new president is Bolsonaro, a very traditional, radical personality. And while still dealing with that, I received the news that Angela Merkel has given up the party lead whilst the remaining chancellor, which worried me as well. And originally I wanted to talk about two books, namely Homo Deus, and put it in a relationship with The Four, just to show something like a counter development or an extension of what's happening right now. But then I went to the hairdressers, and besides that, she put in a lot of effort to make my voluminous hair look normal. It was also very interesting and a little bit difficult for me because the hairdresser is a woman and she is in a phase of her life where she's questioning a lot of things, but she's incapable of making the right moves. So before I tell you more about her, so the book I want to talk about today is called The Road Less Traveled. And I've read it in August this year. And it's been funny because by then I was still working on a ship and I've been to Alaska, and there was this wonderful, nice, elderly man I met called Ray and his charming wife. And we discussed books among all other life's issues. And this is a book he recommended. And funnily, another person recommended that book to me, a person that I've met on a plane that kind of left quite an impression. And then I asked that guy with whom I was still kind of in a chat trying, just to maintain the contact. I asked him what he was reading at that moment, and he gave me that title, and I thought, well, what a coincidence. I should definitely invest time in reading the book, which I did. And it's written by Morgan Scott Peck. Sorry, I didn't mention that before. In 1978, he was a psychiatrist and he analyzes love relationships. And coming back to the hairdresser. So she grew up with parents who were violent towards her. And she's been married now for 2 decades. She's 41. And her husband works abroad and she's here. And she was kind of, talking about her depression and everything. And right from, not from the beginning, but very early on. And I told her, well, besides all the medicine that you're taking, talking is very good too, very helpful. It's a great medicine. Because when we talk about our stuff, we exchange and we get some new insights. Well, I was not alone at the hairdressers. My mother was accompanying me, and to my mother, I will always be the child. So it was kind of energy taking while this woman was revealing her problems, and I was trying to share my personal experience of how to develop into a person that believes in yourself. And that was wrong grammar, but forgive me, I'm not gonna record everything again. So it was a little bit difficult for me to maintain my Zen attitude. Well, my mother was kind of always trying to explain what I was saying to her because I was talking to a very Catholic person. She's been brought up very religiously, so she had a lot of self-doubts about that. But I have no doubt that she wouldn't understand me, so yeah. Anyway, so we had this conversation, and that's why I would like to introduce to you as well The Road Less Traveled, which is all about love. And already in the first chapter, what made me continue reading, it discusses the point that we often have a wrong idea of what love is and how to practice it in a relationship due to the way that we have been raised. Now, this was no new information for me, but you always learn new aspects and you find affirmation as well in overthinking and thinking further. So, when we have parents, like in the case of the hairdresser, who are physically violent, we tend to believe that when we are loved, we also somehow have to receive this physical violence. That means we're not necessarily protected against people who would do that to us. We're not necessarily going to leave them, even though they're physically abusive, because we've learned that that's part of the deal, right? Another thing, when we think of her husband, so why does he beat her up? Did I mention that? Her husband beats her up. So that man has learned to behave like that towards women when he was very small. So for him, part of sharing love is also letting out his feelings like that and thinking that it's not going to have like the consequence that somebody would leave you because his mother did not leave his dad, right? So, okay, I'm taking the book to an extreme, but still it's all there. We react, we give and receive love in the way that we've learned it when we were very little. So just like any other animal, we copy a lot of behavior, and that's how we proceed in life. So for the hairdresser and for you, I really recommend reading that book because it's also about how to get out of this, how to understand love as a co-relationship where people are living together and helping to develop the other. So while you yourself develop in a relationship, it is definitely part of your job also to develop the other. So and an important clue towards this is that you understand your own viewpoint and where it comes from, and that you're capable to be able to change that viewpoint, attitudes, and even as far as learned behavior when confronted with a better truth. All right. So it is a book I recommend to people who are trying to finally find a relationship that will work in the long run, because it's about supporting each other without giving yourself up. So you actually get the learning part, the self-development part as well. So, well, yeah. Unfortunately, since we've been two women at the hairdressers and having two very different parts that we wanted to work on while the hairdresser was sharing her private life with us, we overdid it. You know what I mean? Like, there is a saying in German that two cooks always oversalt the soup, something like that. I don't know how to say that in English, but yeah. So we gave her a little bit too much information. So, but my mother definitely made an effort to to go towards the religious background of the woman, while I was more of short texted, trying to reveal 2 or 3 examples of my life and mainly answering questions instead of giving advice. Now, since I myself am still in the process of recognizing what's been important in the early development of my own character, I'm surely not all knowledgeable that I could help people to change their lives that easily, but I believe in the clues that I find along the way, and some of those clues become new life philosophies and can change your mindset, and it's always a long process and a long development, and there's so much to figure out about yourself and your behavior, your thinking, your true inner self, that all you can do is be open to discovery, to change, to moving forward, going through that hurtful phase, those hurtful thoughts, and question, why are they there? Are they the truth? Where do I actually want to go to? All right, and that doesn't happen from one day to another. So there are a lot of steps ahead. And the best thing is you start that journey. So see you another time. Wow, that's been long. Bye.